tickets. They're $10. If you want to go, buy this for me. Do not buy this for anyone else. Okay. And second, so my name is Claire. I'm from Ms. Fedorko's AP Lit class. I guess the first thing I should say is that with this presentation, I watch a lot of TED Talks, and what I really wanted to capture the most was like the casualness of a TED Talk, but like with the personal part of it. So I didn't really practice this too much. I thought that if I was really passionate about it, it would just come really easily, and that's been true so far. So hopefully it's true this one. So I'm just gonna start off by showing you guys a video.
Mom, you made it.
I did.
Let's go.
Okay, so as you can probably tell, my presentation is about immigration. And the title of my presentation is I Look Different to Everyone. I should probably explain that. As you guys can probably tell, I'm Asian. I'm actually South Korean. And by my title, I mean that in America, you guys look at me and I look different to you. I look Asian. But if I were to go to Korea, even though I look Korean, they would label me as American. So I guess a focus in my presentation is that I don't really fit in anywhere, that I'm kind of in the middle. And as you guys see towards the end of my presentation, there's a little bit of a different conclusion I come to. So I guess I should start off by saying that I am a first-generation Canadian. I was born in Canada, but my parents are both immigrants who were born in Korea and then moved here when they were young. So I really wanted to focus on the kind of identity crises that immigrants have when they come to America. The question that we had to answer, or the one that I had to answer, was how does America create a net that ensnares its inhabitants, resulting in a widespread identity crisis? So the answer that I formulated to that question was that America creates a sort of net by having a standard of success, of what we constitute as being successful, as being happy in this country. And obviously that's different in other countries. So when immigrants come here, they kind of lose their identity. They're unsure of, if they match up to Americans. or like how they're supposed to live, what they're supposed to be expecting. So I guess I'll start off by explaining what I, as an immigrant, think is the American dream or the American standard of success. So in my opinion, I think that when you come to America, you're successful if you have a nice car, if you live in the suburbs, you have a nice family, you don't really have any kind of big problems, and you live happy like this. That's what I think. I also think that Americans have sort of sense of like humanitarianism. We always want to go help people who are less fortunate than us. Yeah, and then in contrast, I think that we're more focused on the individual. Not that we don't want to help others, but we're more focused on not so much the material gain from going to school, getting a job. It's not so much about the money as it is about the raw knowledge. So those are the two main differences that I decided to focus on between American and Korean culture. So a part of the assignment was to interview some people that we thought would have relevant answers to our question. So I interviewed my mom. This is my mom when she was probably in her 20s, and that's my dad. So I guess I should probably give you a little bit of a background on how they immigrated here. So my mom was born in Korea. They were both born in Korea. My mom grew up in Korea, and then she came here when she was 18. My dad moved to Paraguay when he was 4 or 5 in between. And then he also moved to Canada when he was 19. And then they both went to Simon Fraser University. They met up, they got married, had me, and then they moved to Boston and had my sister, who's actually American, the only American in our family. So I interviewed my mom first about the language barrier, which I thought was a really common big problem amongst immigrants, especially a factor in why they lose their identity. I think that's one of the first things that people encounter, language. So she said, language is very close to the heart, almost as close as food. There's something terribly lonely about being in a country where no one speaks your language. It's incredibly frustrating that you can't express the intelligence exploding in your brain, because if you do it in the way you feel is most natural, people won't understand you. In addition to my college classes, I studied English every night with your dad. The grammar is so dumb, Korean is very simple, but it's still more beautiful than English could ever be. Regardless, I needed to learn English to survive. I hate to say it, but I think that pieces of my Korean identity faded each time I practiced broken English in the mirror or filled out a middle school grammar worksheet. I don't know what to think about that. So when she said that, and then I found that video that I showed you guys, I just really like that video because I think it was exactly what my mom went through, and I think it really captures not only exactly what she did, all the long nights and the studying, but also the pain and the kind of loneliness she felt simply because she couldn't speak English. Now I think most of you guys might not know what that feels like, but English is my second language. Fortunately, I learned English in kindergarten, so it's not like I went through that much pain, but language really is what connects people. And I think going with that, immigrants, especially Koreans, focusing on Koreans, who are really smart in their home country can come here, and then just because they're not able to speak English, they might have to, banks won't give you loans if you don't have established credit. So it's kind of racist, but a lot of Koreans start laundromats and nail salons, mostly because you don't need big loans. You can make a lot of money, and you don't have to speak English. You don't have to talk to people. And then that kind of cycle just captures more immigrants, and then they tend to not be as successful in the American eyes. We have laundromats and nail salons and not really, businesses and like big corporations. And that's my dad. I didn't interview him because he probably wouldn't have taken it seriously, but. And then I also interviewed my mom about the difference in the education system in America and in Korea. So in America, I guess I don't know what it's like in Korea. I didn't experience it myself. But my mom told me that in Korea, there's one entrance exam to college. So at the end of your high school career, you pick one college you apply to, you take one test. It's the entire nation. They turn off all the traffic signals, they close all the stores. You take it all day. It's like the SAT, but like 10 times worse. They have literally every subject on it. And then if you fail it, you have to take another year of high school and then take it again the next year. So that's incredibly stressful. My mom took it. My mom was really smart. She actually got into like the MIT of Korea. She went for one semester and then she wasn't happy, so she moved here. So I guess I should read you what she said about education. She said, "I was a very good student. I was ranked in the top 10 in the country. In Korea, intelligence is power, power is success, Success is forever. Our ideals are not settled around money or assets, but raw knowledge. I began university at the most prestigious school in the country, but I wasn't happy. I thought I'd be happy if I came to America, so my mom loaned me some money and I flew here by myself, 18 years old. It confused me that people compared cars, salaries, and physical appearance over intelligence and value of the heart. Americans really do think they are the best people in the world. I guess I can't say much about that, though, since I'm one now, too. I stay home now and I don't have a job. I feel that people judge me for that, and they assume I'm not smart enough to be employed. That hurts me a little bit, but I suppose I signed up for that when I decided to come here. So what made me the saddest about that answer in particular is that my mom felt worth something in Korea because she was smart, but then she came here, she wasn't very good at English, she was 18, she was really scared, and then she didn't really catch a break, so she didn't get a job. She had my sister and I, and then she just became a stay-at-home mom. It kind of just happened. I don't think she's unhappy with her decision, but what makes me sad is that she didn't really get a chance to show what she was capable of, and then people just assume that she wasn't smart enough, that she didn't work hard enough, and that's why she doesn't have a job. And so, I mean, I'm sure a lot of your moms are stay-at-home moms too. I think that's the hardest job there is, but a lot of times people ask me what my mom does, and if I just say she's a stay-at-home mom, they kind of look like they feel sorry for me. And I guess that's just the saddest part of losing your identity as an immigrant. That's why I focused more on my mom, because my dad really made it. He went to college, he finished college, and then he got a really good job, and he's moving up like crazy. Like, we have to move a lot because he just keeps getting promoted. So my dad, I mean, I'm sure he has his problems, but I just focused on my mom because she just made me the saddest. So these are both my parents again. And I guess I just want to say that I think about my parents a lot. I don't think they know how grateful I am. I guess I'm not very good at telling them that. But like, they don't even know that I'm doing this presentation. They don't know that I use these pictures. I found them in the basement. They'd probably be really embarrassed if they knew. So like, I mean, I did this presentation because I guess I feel bad. I have a little bit of a hard time as a first-generation American, so I can't even imagine how they must have had it as, you know, actual immigrants. And I'm just grateful that, you know, they worked hard and America worked out for them. But I guess the whole point of my presentation, I didn't really answer my question. I just wanted to open it up to you guys, whether it's good or not, or what you should keep from your culture and what you shouldn't when you move here. And yeah, that's pretty much the end. I just wanted to know what you guys thought. Okay, if anyone has questions or comments or anything.
You, like, that video was like so great. You brought me to tears.
Oh, I know, it's really sad to do.
So, we still
I know. Me too, if it helps. Yeah.
And then, just like your whole presentation was like really good because I can relate.